Now to the latest on former President Donald Trump and the audio recording in which he's apparently heard speaking about highly confidential information of a potential U.S. attack plan on Iran.
Here's ABC's Rena Roy on what that means for the former president's legal troubles.
Former President Trump giving ABC News a new explanation for that audio recording where he's heard showing information he describes as secret. Trump telling ABC's Rachel Scott, "If you want to know the truth, it was bravado. I was talking and just holding up papers and talking about them, but I had no documents."
He continued to insist throughout the duration of our interview with him that he did nothing wrong. He maintains the fact that he wasn't actually showing classified documents, but you heard the recording for yourself.
Trump also telling ABC that the copies of plans included in the shuffling papers heard in the audio were plans for construction. ABC News obtaining the recording from a meeting at Trump's New Jersey golf club in July of 2021. It's repeatedly quoted in the indictment related to his handling of classified documents.
This was done by the military, given to me.
Trump describes a document he says was compiled by former Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley outlining a potential plan of attack on Iran.
As president, I could have declassified. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
This after Trump once claimed that as president, he had the power to declassify documents just by thinking about it. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 37 federal counts in relation to the alleged mishandling of national security documents found at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Meanwhile, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy now attempting to save face after telling CNBC Trump may not be the strongest Republican candidate in the 2024 presidential race.
Can he win that election? Yeah, he can.
You think he can?
The question is he the strongest to win the election? I don't know that answer.
After that interview, McCarthy quickly doing an about-face, telling Breitbart News that Trump is stronger today than he was in 2016. And a source telling ABC McCarthy also called Trump directly. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
An attorney accused in a series of sexual assault cases in Massachusetts now facing more charges, those assaults dating back 15 years ago. Matthew Nilo was accused of sexually assaulting 4 women 15 years ago in a chilling spree of violence that rocked the Charleston area of Boston. He now has 5 more sexual assault charges involving 4 additional women. The charges focus on 5 incidents occurring from 2007 to 2008. During that time, Boston PD urged women to be on high alert, believing the crimes may have been connected. Nilo has pleaded not guilty to the new charges.
Unrest between police and people in France continues after an officer shot and killed a teen during a traffic stop. Officers were on high alert yesterday after protests broke out. This comes after police say a 17-year-old driver refused to comply with a stop order. An officer eventually shot him, and police are now investigating his death. Officers detained 24 people, according to France officials. The local prosecutor's office says one of the police officers is currently in custody for culpable homicide.
Now to the latest into the investigation of letters containing white powder sent to dozens of Republican lawmakers. It's not clear what that powder is. So far, investigators have not only said that they can't rule out that might be harmful. Authorities saying they are confident they will find whoever is responsible. More than 100 have been sent just this month to lawmakers in Kansas. The letters are enclosed with a note saying, quote, "It is important not to choke on your ambition," end quote. Police there are struggling to keep up with each letter sent.
Every single bomb squad and every single hazmat unit was engaged in this investigation. That is just an incredible drain on law enforcement resources that frankly takes away from other investigative priorities.
The letters took so much of the authorities' attention that the agents missed a possible seizure of a substantial shipment of fentanyl.
The Biden administration getting ready to announce funding for new investments in sustainable and equitable infrastructure. The $2 billion will finance a 162 community-led project as part of the administration's Investing in America agenda. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says these grants will help create new jobs, improve safety, fight climate change, and advance equity. Other projects include $21 million to eliminate a rail crossing in California, $25 million to replace and update bridges in Iowa, and $25 million for a downtown transit center in New Orleans.
President Joe Biden is set to embrace Bidenomics during his speech in Chicago today. The theory rejects trickle-down policies in favor of a belief that the economy grows from the middle out and the bottom up. While his advisors and economists believe the worst effects of inflation are behind us, most Americans are still convinced the economy is in bad shape. The White House hopes this messaging will help improve Biden's political standing as the 2024 presidential campaign gets underway.
First, it was the Northeast. Now, smoke and haze from Canadian wildfires drifted to the Midwest. Detroit seeing some of the worst air quality in the states in the complete United States. EPA's air now website is showing Detroit to be a hazardous range, warning people to stay indoors and reduce activity levels. New York's governor also warning of worsening air quality beginning today.
And back here at home, 93 degrees. But there is some good news that Justin has.
Yeah, we are going to see some
cute pictures.
Some cute pictures, yes, and some less hot temperatures coming up. I'm not going to say cooler temperatures because it's not cool, but less hot. And as you look outside there, we got blue skies, a lot of blue skies. I am going to start with a picture. We're starting to get several in here of animals trying to keep cool. This is a tortoise splooting. You know what that is, right? Where they stick out all the legs. And it's a way to keep cool. The tortoise is trying splooting. Splooting. Yeah, dogs do it too. It is a way for them to keep cool in the summer heat. Sometimes a cooler surface there, they kind of lay on their stomach. Anyway, great shot. That's Groot, by the way. That's his name, Groot. Groot is splooting. That's cool. Anyway, thank you for sending that in. Let's look across the country right now. Some cool air up across the Northeast. Or Northwest, I should say. 61 in Seattle, 65 Portland. That's where it's been cool all week, right? These temperatures have not changed much, and it's been Texas that is really, really baking. Still the case today. 93 right now in Dallas. They're on their way to triple digits. It's already in the triple digits. Wichita Falls, San Angelo, Midland, 96. We're at 90, and the forecast for today, Texas up to about 102. That's our high around 4 or 5 o'clock. Feels like number around 104. 99 at 7 p.m. Still in the 90s through about 9 o'clock before we drop off into the 80s with clear skies till about 5, 6 a.m. Then we'll probably see a few clouds build in. We do have some good news, as we said, some cooler temperatures ahead and maybe some rain chances. We'll take another look at that for you here in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. New details this noon that failed armed rebelling in Russia. The president of Belarus now says he intervened and stopped Russian President Vladimir Putin from wiping out mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin.
Meantime, we're learning how that mercenary planned to grow his revolt. ABC's Patrick Ravel has the details.
This morning, new details about that failed armed rebellion in Russia. A U.S. official telling ABC News that Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner mercenary group, had conversations with senior Russian generals and others in Moscow before launching his revolt. Prigozhin apparently believing they would join him, according to the U.S. official. In the end, though, as his Wagner troops marched towards Moscow, none sided with him. With security forces staying loyal to Vladimir Putin, Prigozhin abruptly ended his march and turned around just 100 miles from the capital. Among those allegedly in contact with the rebel leader, General Sergei Surovikin, briefly overall commander of Russia's war in Ukraine last year, but removed in January. Surovikin last seen Saturday in this video released during the attempted mutiny, appearing to read a statement denouncing it. The Kremlin dismissing the U.S. claims as gossip and speculation. President Biden asked by reporters today if the failed rebellion had weakened Putin. The president misspeaking, but saying he thought so.
He's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a pariah around the world.
Prigozhin himself now in exile in Belarus, according to the country's leader, Alexander Lukashenko, who brokered the deal to end his mutiny. The Wagner leader protected by a huge force of his own troops, according to the U.S. official.
The U.S. official suggested that Prigozhin simply didn't have the forces to take Moscow after the security services, the FSB, the National Guard and the military stayed loyal to Putin. But a question now whether Putin might launch an even harsher crackdown inside Russia following this. Patrick Revel, ABC News, Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine.
The 4th of July cooking expenses could be cheaper this year. What a new survey is showing Americans can expect to pay at stores.
And also coming up, we'll look into the movie Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. that hits theaters this weekend. The film features a mermaid, but she's not like other well-known animated mermaids.
Starbucks is cracking down on decorations inside their stores. What baristas are saying about the rules regarding pride decorations.
Tension still brewing at some Starbucks in the U.S. over that pride decorations and what is allowed. Officials at the coffee store chain, they will provide more clear guidelines regarding in-store pride decorations. Earlier this month, the union representing the barista claimed the company has limited employees' ability to display pride-related items. That led some workers to go on strike in dozens of locations over the past few days, causing at least 7 Starbucks to be shut down yesterday. Starbucks says the employees want more of a say in Pride Matters and to have a consistent plan on what can be displayed.
And good news for inflation worry this 4th of July revelers. The Independence Day cookout is going to be a bit more affordable than it was last year. According to a survey from the American Farm Bureau Federation, families can expect to pay $67.73 for a 10-person cookout. That's down 3% from last year's record high. The cookout includes 12 staple items. Hamburger buns, beef, and potato salad were up in price this year. Chicken breast, lemonade, and chocolate chip cookies saw price drops. Last year's average July 4th barbecue cost was $69.68. While it is nearly $2 less this year, it's still the second highest on record.
Outside with live cam. So here's the good news. With Adam Caskey the other night, he was talking about how we have not reached the number of 100 days that we had last year. So that's
right.
Always good. Plus, temperatures are looking to drop and we have some rain. So boom.
It's all good. It's all positive. Comparatively speaking, this is not last year. We had such a stretch of triple-digit days. So this is not that. We have put together a nice stretch here, but I think we finally fall below that 100-degree mark as we head later into the weekend. So far today, 90. The record is 103, set back in 1902. We may actually get close to this afternoon. Right now we're forecasting 102. We look at the weekend, we look at those rain chances too, coming up.
Welcome back. You know what sounds great right now? Like
big
a
glass of iced tea.
Lemonade. We're like here. We're like in
lemonade
sync.
Would be good.
Yeah.
Swimming pool.
Yes.
The correct answer is water.
Okay, fine, Justin.
I mean, iced tea.
Lemonade. Okay. Well, if you have water,
yes, water,
sugar,
of
though.
course.
Don't put any sugar in there. No sweet tea.
Oh man, you're killing all the fun.
Total buzzkill over here.
Really?
Sorry.
You got water in your lemonade when you mix it up, right?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, that's true, but too much sugar. Too much. Speaking of water, let's talk about the lake levels. Where are we at? The numbers aren't great. Area reservoir levels are all down. We know that. It's been a couple years now of drought, so this has taken its toll. Canyon is at 75%. And yeah, that number seems high, but for Canyon, that's actually fairly low. We're down 13 feet here, and we're getting closer to an all-time low there at Canyon. So we'll see if these numbers fall a little bit more. They very well may. Of course, Medina has been stuck at 5% for a long while now. It's very, very low. Choke Canyon's at 31%, Amistad 39%, Buchanan 62%. LBJ is a steady level lake, so you would expect it to be near 100, but it's even down to 98%. So we do have some issues out there in some of the reservoirs. Obviously, rain would be a good thing. We have a little bit in the forecast, not a lot. I want to show you the temperatures over the last 4 days. So we've been at 102 Saturday, Sunday, 104 Monday, Tuesday. Very hot. Today, we're looking for temperatures around 102. And by the way, the heat indices have been up around 109, 110. Today, I think it gets a little bit better. We're starting the trend downward, 102, and then the forecast heat index around 105. So a couple things at play here. We're getting some slightly cooler temperatures, slightly lower humidity levels. Those two things combined make it a little more tolerable to be outside. Not much, but a little bit. Every little bit helps at this point. As we go outside for you, 92 at Stinson, 91 Kelly, 93 at Randolph. So we are looking at a quick warm up here. Southerly winds anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. And dew points are on their way down. We're seeing dew points in the upper 60s now. And this does help. The dew point is 61 there in Kerrville. Drops a little bit more this afternoon. It becomes more of a dry heat, not that very sticky heat that we get when the heat indices jump up, above 110. We're just not going to see that today. In fact, heat indices right now are in the mid-90s. We are seeing a couple places nearing 100, if not a little bit above. New Braunfels feels like 101. It's just these numbers won't get out of control this afternoon. And that's not a bad thing. So the forecast calls for a high around 102, heat index around 104, 4 and 5 o'clock. And then we'll still see a heat index probably through about 8, 9 o'clock before things get a little bit better. 83 at midnight, 81 at 1 a.m. As we look across the country, no big issues here. We've got some rain across parts of Missouri and Illinois, some rain to the north where the jet stream is, so it's well north of us, and some rain across parts of the northeast. But our ridge of high pressure is squashing any rain chances that we have here. It does move, it starts to push east, and that's going to take some of the hotter temperatures over parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. And that starts to open a door Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. We don't have great rain chances. There's nothing there to kick up a large portion of you ready to see showers and storms. But I think that we'll get some of that spotty rain, some isolated showers and storms during the afternoon hours. Right now we're calling for 20% both Monday and Tuesday. Models are hinting at that. Again, it'll be mostly pop-up afternoon stuff, but at least it is in the forecast. So some lower afternoon humidity tomorrow, Friday. Temperatures right around 100. We drop down into the 90s by Sunday, and 97 Monday, 96 for Independence Day, with a 20% chance of rain. We'll be right back.
A new animated adventure from DreamWorks swims into theaters this weekend. Here's Rick Damigella with a sneak peek.
Krakens are majestic creatures and noble protectors.
I'm just Ruby Gilman, normal teenager.
A family of Krakens blend into the human world in the cephalopod out of water tale, Ruby Gilman Teenage Kraken.
And remember,
if anyone asks, we're from Canada.
Lana Condor voices Ruby.
I mean, it was so much fun recording this, and I also think that it felt like every day I would go to work and I'd be a little bit like, it was a little bit like a pinch me moment, because I've just always loved DreamWorks and their films, and I've always wanted to work with them.
I'm Chelsea. Mermaids are selfish, vain narcissists.
I am gorgeous.
Unlike most movie mermaids, Annie Murphy's character doesn't want Ruby as part of her world.
I mean, the mean girl's always tough, because mean girls just suck so darn much. But the evil part of it, I'll tell you, it really unlocked something in me, and I was like, "Ooh, this feels really good." I had a really good time playing bad.
But people love mermaids.
Of course they do. People are stupid.
And while there may be familiar themes, Ruby Gilman is among the rarest of Hollywood creatures, an original story.
What I enjoy about originals, while being difficult to do, but hopefully with help we launch, but is the discoveries you make with your fellow artists along the way. There's no brand management because we don't have a brand. No one shows up and says, Ruby doesn't do that, because nobody knows Ruby yet. So we discover it together, all of us in the studio.
It's time to go big.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
No mean girls on SA Live, just the beautiful people.
Oh, very
How
nice.
sweet.
Right
you
here.
You guys too. Beautiful people over there.
Hey, and we got a beautiful deal of the day. We're going to tell you about a family meal. And good thing is you got time, because this is a deal for tomorrow, but we're going to tell you about it today.
Yes, and we have Stephanie Pena, Frost Lifestyle expert, joining us today. And we're talking about all these different spices. You have a tip for us.
I do. When you're grilling, say, ribs, you want to put a little layer of mustard on it. It could be regular, could be Dijon. Before you put your spices on, it'll help the spices, the seasoning, adhere to the meat better.
And you said it doesn't change the flavor all that much.
Doesn't change the flavor.
Okay.
We've never seen it.
A lot of local spices we're going to be trying. Speaking of good food,
yes, you won't
good.
believe what's in this pizza and what's not. That makes it super healthy and guilt-free, I like to say. It's delicious.
And the big question is, do kids love it? The answer to that one's yes. All right, Lightwork 316 does a lot of great things for families with kids that are going through major medical. And got some great little crafts, and I could actually see Jen wearing these flip-flops.
Totally.
Really simple to do, and they've got a great tip. This oven pot holder.
Yep, I got some of those.
What can we turn this into? You're gonna love this.
That and much more coming up on SA Live.